And joining me now with more on what that means exactly is Ross Gerber, President and CEO of Gerber Kawasaki Wealth and Investment Management. Ross, great to have you back on Inside the Issues.
Thank you.
So in 1999, Elon starts X.com, an online bank that later merged with the electronic payment service PayPal. That's kind of become somewhat of a household name now. And nearly 2 decades later, he bought the X.com website back from PayPal. So looking at that, it might make one wonder, how long has his X brand kind of been in the making here?
Well, according to him, for forever, since he was a kid. So it's definitely something that he's been thinking about for a long time and wanting to do. And, part of it is capturing the tremendous amount of data that Twitter has over the last decade, from political elections to wars and heads of state. So when you add in the data that he got to start with X and then his vision, certainly in his mind, anything is possible.
Well, branding, not an easy feat. No social media company has ever tried to rebrand by actually changing the name of the app. And the change has brought, as you know, some confusion to its users. For example, the app's home button also still shaped like a birdhouse at this point on the website. And the company's site itself remains twitter.com. People are also still using, the word tweet. We say we're tweeting, we're sending out a tweet. Do you think the change is permanent? And will Elon Musk be rolling out new language for the website eventually?
Well, the change is permanent, but changing like popular culture, like we Google things and we tweet things, is not that easy. And Google changed its name to Alphabet, and I've never called it Alphabet like in an interview or anything ever. It's Google, and now Meta, it's really Facebook. So this isn't actually that rare to rebrand. But what I think it is rebranding the app itself, not just the parent company, really does create a certain level of confusion among, consumers and certainly advertisers on, what's the difference and what am I getting? So I think from that level, there's something to it. But I think over time, people just adapt. But I'm still tweeting in my mind, and, I don't know what else I'd call it. So that's kind of where we're stuck.
I was going to say, are we going to be Xing? That seems odd to me.
I tweeted something like, Twitter is my new X, and I was kind of like, I don't really want to be Xing. It has different connotations. Tweeting has this little bit of brilliance to the term that was sort of probably unintended. And it's, once again, I think it's very hard to change this sort of pop, culture terminology that becomes the way we talk. Like, back in the old days, it was Xeroxing, if you're old enough.
Right. Yeah. You're gonna get a Kleenex instead of a tissue, things like that.
Right. And brands work really hard to do that. That's considered a major success that we tweet. So it is unique to destroy a brand that definitely has value, to replace it with another brand that has value, but maybe a different, how would I say, vision in society than what Twitter, I think, stands for.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of, we rebranded the Staples Center here in Los Angeles recently, crypto.com.
Right.
I know a lot of people still calling it Staples, Yeah.
Right, I call it Staples, yeah.
So many people have argued that Musk taking over Twitter, now X, was going to kill the app. Last month, Musk tweeted that X had reached a new high in 2023 this year with over 540 million users. So I'm curious, Ross, what do you think Elon Musk's business continues to do so well despite all the controversy and confusion that at times follows him?
Well, a caveat to these metrics, they're being released by Elon, and from my experience with the app over time, I would say that I do not think that more users are using Twitter today than a year ago. I think that, how would I say this? There's certain elements of the app that I think have been lost, over the last year. And there are certain elements of the app that I think are enhanced over the last year. So as I said, it's a work in progress, and it's very early in this work in progress. So I loathe to be too judgmental to it, because I still think a lot of the core of Twitter is still Twitter, and it's still the best source of information in the world if you want real-time information. But I worry that that edge it has will erode over time if his focus directs great information givers away from the platform, especially over monetization. A lot of great information, providers don't necessarily care about monetization, and the singular focus on that makes it more YouTube-like, and therefore maybe the information not as accurate. And so, these are unintended consequences of the changes that I still think are, up in the air to how this will all work itself out.
And I want to dive a little more into that. Elon Musk has indicated he wants to transform X into this, everything app of sorts. And last month, you had Linda Yaccarino, the company's chief executive, posting, quote, "X is the future state of unlimited interactivity centered in audio, video messaging, payments, banking, creating a global marketplace for ideas, goods, services, and opportunities. Powered by AI, X will connect us all in ways we're just beginning to imagine." So what does this mean to you, and what more, does Musk have up his sleeve? And could this dilute kind of the brand if we're adding in all of these things that we've seen across other social media platforms?
And I've heard and read that, certain elements, like they're looking into getting into stock trading and other elements of commerce that aren't really traditionally where apps like social media apps have gone. So for me, I would, one, argue that there are many apps that do this kind of stuff separately very good, whether it's the sort of Robinhood / public.com, or Schwab's, to the PayPal's and the Square. Square has done very well with payments and connecting people, and Stripe, and so there's many, different people doing lots of these different parts very well, and putting it all together in one app may not be what consumers really even want or care about, and that's yet to be determined. But I also think with Elon, he kind of puts all these sauces together, not really 100% sure like what will really be what it is, but if he puts all these elements together, something will hit, kind of like Starlink with SpaceX, and all of a sudden, if that hits, that's big enough to really drive the app to the next level. So I think that's part of it too, that they're going to try a lot of things and fail, and they're going to try a lot of things and something will succeed. And I do have a lot of confidence now. In full disclosure, I'm an investor in X personally, and with my firm. And, I believe that he's not somebody to bet against. So, I don't want to be too judgmental when he's not even been doing this for a year.
So just kind of throw all these things at the wall and see what sticks.
And see what it becomes. That's maybe what the Everything app is like, we're not really sure what it is, but we know we can do something great if we put enough smart people together with enough ideas. And that's kind of the way he functions and pushes really these smart people to their limits. So I have a lot of confidence that if he builds the right team, they'll be successful. I'm just not sure what that looks like, and I'm not sure they know what that looks like.
We got about 30 seconds before I let you go. I have to ask, do you think this cage fight happens between Zuckerberg and Elon Musk that we're hearing about?
Well, I talked on my podcast today, on YouTube about, he got his MRI on his back. Elon has a bad back, and we're the same age. We're both in our early 50s, and my son is 11-year-old jiu-jitsu guy, and whenever he wants to wrestle, I'm always like, don't hurt your dad. It's like I could crush him. I'm 185 pounds, but I could also get my arm broken by accident. So, I don't think cage matches for me and Elon are really like the greatest ideas in the world at this point. So that's kind of where I think he's at. I think he's going to get out of it with the MRI.
All right, MRI saving the day there. Ross Gerber, thank you so much, as CEO and president of Gerber Kawasaki Wealth and Investment Management. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.